Okay, hello everybody, it's Jeffrey Deck Runescapefar. Today we will be installing a 320 gigabyte hard state drive into this laptop, and then adding the Windows 7 32-bit OS system on here. So before we begin, we need a couple things. First, we need our hard drive. This has been wiped clean. It's set to basic mode so it can accept new OS systems. If it's set to dynamic, then it cannot accept any new OS system whatsoever. We're going to need an external Wi-Fi dongle. One of these flash drives contains the driver for this Wi-Fi dongle, so I'll figure that out when we get there. A anti-static wrist bracelet. This will prevent electrostatic discharge, ESD. Standard screwdriver kit. This is a magnetic one, so we can take off the backing and insert the new hard disk drive and close it up. And then basically a standard installation CD. Now there are two ways to do this, either through an installation CD or software. Either or is fine, but today we're going to do a installation CD. Now always make sure your laptop is completely powered up. However, right now we're going to unplug the power supply source, remove the battery, and take this bad boy apart. So first I'm going to put on my anti-static bracelet. There we go, and connect it to some metal, which on this case, that's going to be a hard place to find, but we'll flip it over, and I am going to place it right here. Okie dokie, so first step before we take out the cover for the hard disk drive, which is right here on this computer model. If you're unsure where your hard drive is, usually some of them do have symbols that say this is where the hard drive is. If it doesn't have any symbols or indications, please check the manual if you don't have the manual anymore. Look it up online with the part number, SSID number, and all that stuff. So we have to remove the battery. Always remove the battery first, so that way it prevents damage to both the system and potentially you. Now then, we're going to take our screwdriver. This is a flathead right here, not a flathead, a Phillips. We will take a Phillips out of our little tool selection here, and we're going to simply unscrew it. And then it should lift out. So here we have a hard disk drive already inserted into here. This one is a 500 gigabyte storage drive. So this is a working good one, so we're going to place this right here, because right now we want to use one that is already completely wiped clean, which is this one here. Simply insert. Slide in. Some of the computers have locking screws here that will lock it in place. This one does not. And then we'll simply replace the cover back on. Make sure it is secured. And there we go. This compartment up here we'll take a look at too, to verify how much RAM is actually in here. So we got a 2 gigabyte PCIe 3 or PC3 and another 2 gigabytes, so we got 4 gigabytes total. Now for the 32 operating system, 4 gigabytes is the max you can get. If you put in 8 gigabytes of RAM into your computer and it only shows that there are only 4 gigabytes out of the 8, that either means 1, the memory was not detected properly, set it down properly, or 2, it is in a Windows 32-bit mode or 32-bit OS. Okay, so we just installed the blank hard drive, and we just verified that it has 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is all you need to run a 32-bit OS. We're going to resecure the hard disk drive. Now at this point, everything is good here, so we no longer need the static wrist bracelet. Turn it back over. and plug in the power supply. So let's go ahead and boot this up. Now by default, your computer BIOS will tell you to boot up into the hard disk drive. So let's see, no bootable device is found. So that means this has been wiped clean. There is no bootable device. So what we'll do is restart the system. And as soon as it comes up here, we're going to hit F2. Okay, now we're in the system's BIOS. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to boot order. And we are going to change the boot order from the HDD/SSD to the CD/DVD. And you do that by pressing F5. Or actually, in this case, F6. There you go. So let's boot open the CD drive here. And we will now insert the 32-bit version of Windows 7. Now, I do not have the activation code, so as far as that goes, that's where we'll end. But, so right now we got the disk. We're going to put the disk in. And we are going to hit F10 to save everything. There we go, so now it's going to reboot up and boot from the disk drive versus the hard disk drive. As we know, the hard disk drive was wiped clean. There was no bootable software on there. Now, vary on how fast your computer is and everything, it can take a while to install an operating system. I had a computer I installed Windows 7 32-bit on earlier this week, and it only had 1 GB of DDR2 RAM, so it took a very long time to install. However, this is DDR3. We got 4 GB of RAM. It should be sufficient and should run fairly well. Okay, here we go. So you got your standard setup here. Gonna go ahead and click on the next button. Install now. Okie dokie, set the terms and license. So what you want to do is do custom advanced, do not upgrade. We're not upgrading a previous OS, we are just installing a brand new one. So we want to do custom in advance. So this is the one we want right here. We're going to click next. And now this is loading. Okay, so the operating system has fully installed. It is setting up our device for first time use. Because again, this hard disk drive did not have anything on it. So, I've got to go down here, click on this. We're not going to put a password on this one. And, okie dokie, user recommended settings. We'll put the date and time, so it is November 18th, and it is currently 1:23. Or actually, it is 1:14. There we go. So once it does this, everything is pretty much good to go. Okay, so here we go. We have our standard Windows 7 32-bit home system. First thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here, go to our properties. Let's see, tablet PC input, start menu, taskbar. Okay, so everything's actually configured here pretty good. So we're going to start and we're going to type in disk management, or actually what we want is device. We want our device manager, which is right here. So with this, we'll be able to see everything that's on here. As you see right now, the Ethernet controller and the network controller is both offline. That is because we just installed the system fresh, so it cannot connect to the internet either. So what we have to do is install a temporary Wi-Fi device, which we will put this into any USB port. And then we must also install the 32-bit software first. So what we'll do is, I believe it is on this one. Could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I might be. So right now it's installing the device for the drivers. Drivers are ready to use. Let's go check it out. So, open to view folders. Here it is right here. This is what we need. The FN9L102, that's made for this specific model. And so what this will do is it will install the Belkin wireless USB adapter. Okay, so now we will plug in our USB adapter. Some drivers require you to install the driver first before even allowing you to actually install the device. So, and some you could just plug in. Those are called plug and plays. So right now we have our Wi-Fi right here we're going to connect to. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Okay, that was odd. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. So now we are connected to the computer on here. We're going to ignore that. Okay, so now what we do is we're going to come back here to our drivers. Now this does have a built-in internal Wi-Fi card, which is this right here, the network controller. So what we want to do is update driver software, search automatically. Now if they can't find it, you might have to go to the vendor's website and download it from there, or if it came with a disc, this is now when you would insert said disc. Okie dokie, so we just finished updating everything. And it'll refresh itself, so as you can see right now, so we had the Belkin USB wireless adapter, that's what we just installed. So what we're going to do is disable this right now. And now we can actually access the built-in Wi-Fi connection. So again, we'll go to here, we'll go to connect. That is very odd. I've never gotten that option before. Okay, so security key. I probably should have this written down, but I don't. Hide the characters. And then there we go. So in this video, we have successfully installed a brand new wiped hard disk drive into a laptop we verified the RAM and make sure it was enough to run the new operating system. Again, Windows 32-bit or any 32-bit operating system can only run on 4 gigabytes of RAM. Anything else, and it will only run on 32 gigabytes. So you can put in, I could put 8 gigabytes in here, but with it being a 32 operating system, it will only use the 4 gigabytes and that only. Now, we also learned how to properly install an operating system from the BIOS by changing the boot login from the hard disk drive to the disk drive. And we must also now go back and ensure that from now on, it will boot from the hard disk drive and no longer the disk drive, because we don't want that anymore. We also learned how to install a external USB Wi-Fi device, while at the same time installing and updating drivers for a brand new operating system. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this video provides useful content for you for your future PC needs and repairs. And as always, have a nice day, live, love, and game on.